So tonight, the tournament resumes. Arizona Duke. I tried to get really smart. I had a great first weekend. I have 15 of the 16 teams left. I got them. It's my best bracket ever. It's probably going to go up in smoke tonight because I got real clever, and I don't think Duke, they've got all these great freshmen. Freshmen don't win the tournament. So I think Arizona's going to beat them tonight. Do I really think that? Well, I did 2 weeks ago. I'm not sure if I do now. But here's what's interesting. Since Coach K took over Duke and John Shire, they've had 90 guys in the NBA. I think Cooper Flagg is going to be their best NBA player ever. So Grant Hill is the best Dookie ever. His first 6 years, 5 times All-NBA. Second's Jayson Tatum, excellent player. Kyrie Irving, to me, only played 8 games at Duke, would be third. I think Cooper Flagg, and by the way, the NBA right now, 24 Dukies, second best to Kentucky. It's a factory. And think of all the guys that have come in since Coach K started. Remember, he came from like Army to Duke, had some turbulent early years. They almost got rid of him. He stayed, built an empire. Then John Shire's been a great, great candidate and a choice. And I think now Grant Hill is the best Dookie ever. And his injuries shortened his career. But he was an unbelievable player. But he entered the league at 22. Cooper Flagg is entering the league at 18. He was 17 when the season started. So I think he's going to be much better early than Jayson Tatum. And I think he'll be better late than Grant Hill. He won't be as good as Grant was first year in the NBA. Grant was an all-star. But I do think Cooper Flagg, when you watch him tonight, IQ, shooting, passing, he's an excellent defender. He's got to become a better ball handler in the pros, no question. But everybody's game needs work. The kid is just fantastic. He is a finisher. He's got more of a chip on his shoulder than Jayson Tatum. In fact, Jayson Tatum's dad, as Rick Bucher told us earlier this week, Jayson Tatum's dad acknowledges that. He's got everything. The chip, the EQ, he's tough, a finisher, can shoot, scores at all 3 levels, just got to handle the ball better. But he was 17 not long ago, and he'll enter the NBA at 18. But here's the classic NBA dilemma. So years ago, when Patrick Ewing went to the Knicks, and you know how fans are, we weren't even in a conspiracy theory era, but it was like the frozen envelope theory because, gosh, what do you know? A good player went to a New York team. It should be noted that the Orlando Magic won the lottery twice. Nobody wants to bring that up, or Cleveland's won it. But yes, at one point, the Knicks with Ewing won it. So here's what's funny. If you look at the NBA lottery odds, there are 3 landing spots. Either perfect would be maybe Chicago or Philadelphia or, hey, San Antonio with Wemby. Okay would be Utah. Great GM, great coach, a lot of draft picks. They got some players. They're going to be OKC if they land Cooper Flagg. They're going to be OKC. And Utah's a great NBA market. And then there's just god-awful Washington, Charlotte, Toronto, Sacramento. And so if Cooper Flagg, the odds are right now, it's mostly awful teams he's going to go to. And this has always been the NBA's dilemma. If he ended up going to Chicago, it's rigged. I'll say it again. The Magic won the lottery twice. The Knicks won it once. But he is an all-time player, and here's his coach as he enters the game tonight against Arizona.
Cooper is about to move on with something incredibly special. The next step he's going to go after this. But happiness doesn't necessarily equate to, just becoming a pro or just making money. And although they're making money either way now, but I think it's important for guys to, each guy is their own individual. So I think depending on the situation, guys should make the decisions for themselves. But Cooper's thing is different. Cooper's thing is, that's said and that's going to happen, and as it should.
Yeah, no, so if you're 20 years old or in your early 30s and watching this show, first of all, thank you. Second of all, what's happening with Cooper Flagg, leaving a big brand, going to the pros and being good immediately, that's why everybody used to love the NBA, because that's the way it always was 25 years ago. Tim Duncan would go to school, be an All-American, and he would come back 2 more years. And Ewing would at Georgetown would be dominant as a freshman. He'd come back 2 or 3 more years. Chris Paul, Duncan, Grant Hills, they didn't leave after a year. So you would watch them for years and years and years, and you'd build up this fascination and visceral connection with all these players. Then they'd go to the NBA, and they were very good year one. We are starving for it, and we're getting Cooper Flagg, and it's so exciting because we don't get this anymore. Great player, at a big brand, can walk in and be a 19-point-a-game guy. MJ, people forget this. MJ hits the shot at North Carolina, right? Oh, my God, they made the movie Air. He came back 2 more seasons after it and didn't win a college title. It's as if they evaporated. Michael Jordan. Dean Smith, he was so great. He had James Worthy. Dean Smith's like, no, let the freshman shoot the game winner. He came back 2 more seasons. Everybody did. The Worthys, the Ewings, the MJs, the Duncans, they all came back and back. And I've said, if you want to know about the NBA's popularity, people are going to go, oh, it's the politics. It's the fact that we don't know any of these guys until they're 28 years old. We have no connection. That's why Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese was such a TV ratings home run. They'd formed a rivalry in college. I'm watching the HBO Simmons series on the Celtics. Magic and Bird had a rivalry in college, and it just pivoted to the NBA. So the fact that what we're getting with Cooper Flagg is what we used to get a surplus of. It was a conveyor belt. Great players, mature, ready to crush, maybe make second-team All-NBA right out of college. So that's why this is so exciting for me. It's a little old school in the NBA, and if you just, and I said this, it's one of my only complaints about Adam Silver. Put your arms around college basketball. Nobody's watching the G League. If Cooper Flagg dropped 38 tonight, I'd actually watch him if he went to Charlotte. Like that's what the NBA used to be. The whole politics thing, maybe that's 5%. It's the fact that guys come into the league. Can you name the top 5 guys drafted last year in the NBA? Nobody can. I'm not sure GMs in the NBA can. That's the problem, is that football and now women's basketball is doing this. They provide us with stories, identifiable stars, and rivalries, and then you just microwave them at the pro level, and they're ready to go. I mean, Reggie Bush had a huge following. Tim Tebow had a huge following in college. I mean, if Zion could have controlled his weight, if Ja Morant was more mature, maybe you could have had that. It wasn't. They weren't. It looks like Cooper Flagg could be. All right, J-Mac. We've got I got a little tip last night. We work the phones. I called you last night on something. You weren't available.
Oh, shoot. I'm sorry. I remember
Yes.
I had something going on. Wait, did you get added to a group text chain accidentally? Like, where did you get this info from? What's going on?
I don't get on group. As Carissa Thompson knows, if you put me on one, I got on an NFL Sunday text chain, and I immediately eliminated myself and apparently offended the whole building.
You removed yourself?
I don't like being on text chains.
Why? You just mute the chain.
I don't even know how to do that.
Okay,
All I
I'll
know
teach
is
you, man.
my thoughts cannot be shared with 47 people simultaneously. If you can get me one-on-one, me in a phone call. I don't want things coming out of my head should not be shared
So
universally.
you got something interesting. Okay.